Hey, it is Friday today. I'm currently between reads. I just finished up a couple of novellas. Calling it a novella is just a very generous way of saying monster smut. I have so many books out from my library that I need to read, and I don't want to just keep focusing on the brain candy Kindle Unlimited ones I can read anytime. I'm reading one of the only historical fiction books that I own that's on my TBR. It's called Brazen and the Beast by Sarah McLean, which when I talk about this, everyone was raving about this. I love historical fiction because I like that the writing style is just so atmospheric. It's very hard for these kinds of books to be cringe to me, whereas a lot of contemporary fiction is like, OMG, he totes is obsessed with my body figure. I'm gonna go tweet about it. Good morning. I have brunch with friends in like 10 minutes, but I'm gonna sneak in an update because I have an update. Last night I got 95 pages into Brazen and the Beast. It's so good. The plot is gonna be difficult to describe because it's like this woman is 29 and has never had a husband. So this is the year she finally wants to take the reins of her life and like start her business, get financially well, like be independent. And part of that is taking control of her body. So she wants to lose her virginity. Long story short, she ends up meeting this criminal and gets involved. It's very hard to describe, but it's very interestingly set up. And this is one of the only historical fiction books I've read where the guy is not like a duke or an earl and he's actually just a criminal. So it's very interesting so far, to the point where I had asked when I started this, because this is the second book in this series, and I had posed the question, do I need to read book one? Several people said no. The more that I read this, the more it's mentioning things that happened previously, and the villain especially, they're like, oh my god, this used to be our bestie and now he's bad, then he betrayed us. I feel like because I'm gonna love this book, I want all the context I can get from it. So I feel like you know where this is going. I'm breaking a little bit of my plus size readathon TBR because I'm going back in time. Consider me gobsmacked when I realized this whole series is on Kindle Unlimited, because this is the first book in the series called Wicked and the Wallflower. It follows this main dude's brother, and the main character of this book is already in the first one. So I just really want to understand the lore behind the villain and what got them to this point. So even though this character is not plus size, I have to read it. I have to know. I'm so curious. I'm hoping this only takes me like the day to read because it's just so fun. So I'm only on chapter 2 of this, but my Kindle says it's only going to take me like 4.5 hours to read. After brunch today, I'm going to Shelby's house and we're gonna hang out and do some more of this. So I'm gonna bring my Kindle and my book. This is my first book I've ever read by Sarah McLean, and I really enjoy her writing style. At the beginning it was a little bit overly dense because it is so historical and you know how people talked back in the 1800s, but the banter is so good. Both in this book and this book, I'm just eating it up because the women go against your expectations, they stand up to the men, and then in this one specifically it's already setting up the whole plot where she's like, no one's ever wanted me, I've never been desirable because she's a bit bigger. So this one's really going for my throat. This one so far, I'm only on chapter 2, is she's like a wallflower, which is why it's in the title, but it's like the whole trope of she used to be the shining glittering thing and now she gets ignored because she's older. So if you've ever related to the lyric, I had the shiniest wheels, now they're rusting, this is me trying vibes. Oh my god, well it sucks that I didn't record it all at Shelby's house because this is an abrupt transition to me crying. I've been having a rough past hour. I have to check into my flight tomorrow to go to New York, which I think I've mentioned. And I'm not doing well thinking about flying, which sucks because I love travel. And I know once I'm there, I'm gonna have so much fun. We have so many fun events planned, but I can't get over the hurdle of like sitting down on that airplane seat for 4 hours and being miserable and sitting like this and making myself as small as possible and being very aware that making myself as small as possible is still too big. I just watched like 10 YouTube videos about how to survive flights as a plus size person, and the advice was basically just choose an airline that has the biggest seat, which is not possible for me when I'm flying business with a company that's buying my ticket, and I'm very aware that both of my flights are completely full, so there's gonna be someone next to me and I can just hope and pray that it's a New Yorker who is used to being in tight spaces like subway cars. So I'm like, maybe I won't be a nuisance, but that's all to say. I've been reading the first book in this series and it's pretty good. It was really confusing for a while while about the politics of the world. The gist of this one is that one of the brothers in this like gang is trying to set her up with his half-brother who's a duke that he's trying to take down, and she's like the person that he's planting to get her in there, but then they're gonna sabotage it. I kind of don't understand yet, but I'm halfway through and it's good. It's fine. I like the banter, but there's only so much reassurance I can get from a book that's about no one ever wants me. I like the themes of these books being about, and this is largely with historical fiction books, is there are characters who are older than the preference of the time and they don't feel good enough because no one's chosen them as a wife, or they're too inexperienced or loud or annoying, or they don't fit into society, which I think is a good message. But this headspace that I'm in, I really don't think I need to be reinforcing that right now, even though this book is really good. And honestly, I don't think I'm gonna be able to read a lot tomorrow because I need to pack, I need to clean my house and like get ready and be in a mental headspace if I'm about to leave for 4 days. But I did have on my nightstand a book that I hauled from the library recently called Unshrinking: How to Face Fat Phobia. I'm gonna try and get down a couple chapters of this tonight and tomorrow. This is the kind of thing that I need right now. I need the affirmations to be able to tell myself tomorrow when on Monday when I'm like miserable on an airplane and having to remind myself that I'm okay. If I'm being vulnerable, I was really on my game for like a week of like counting my calories and going for walks like 5 times a week, if not every single day. And for the past 2 weeks, I've stopped doing that. So I just feel really defeated that I could have made so much more progress so that I'm not this upset. I have a long haul flight in September that I now have to keep my mind on, and I'm not confident that I'm even gonna have any progress for that. So I just feel super defeated right now. So I'm gonna try a couple chapters of this. I guarantee it's probably just gonna make me cry harder. Gordo has been very kind and sweet, and he's been doing this for the past half hour. Oh my god, I hate this feeling. As soon as I sit on an airplane, I'm never more aware of how big and intrusive I am. And I just have such empathy for people who have to sit next to me on planes, and I am very aware of, I try not to be in their space. I'm at a loss for what to do to inspire myself to want to do better, because clearly avoiding this feeling was not enough to take action. Good afternoon. I'm feeling better since last night. I know this is also probably an abrupt transition because I said I was gonna read that nonfiction book. The thing I discovered about that is chapter 1 is very much laying out the issues on the table. It's not inspirational yet. It's a lot of scientific facts of, we know that fat girls don't get hired as often and people experience this kind of fat phobia. I'm like, yeah, I know. Can we get to the tagline of like how to live with fat phobia? So that was not helping me. I spent like 5 hours today cleaning, and I took a cold shower afterward because I was tired. I now have time all evening. It's 5 o'clock to hopefully finish my book. I'm still reading book 1 of this series. It's interesting because this book is so plot focused and not romance focused, and I'm still really enjoying it. Like obviously there's pining and all the stuff that you need in these kinds of romance books, but I'm like 60% of the way through and they've kissed like twice, but I'm like, honestly, if I don't get a sex scene, like it's still good enough to get like 4 or 5 stars. It's very much opposites attract, where she's like a duchess or whatever and he's from the scum. I'm feeling a bit better about my flight today, so everyone cross your fingers. I might have an open seat next to me tomorrow. Oh my god, I wasn't nervous until I'm sitting here thinking about it. That's my update for right now. I'm feeling okay. Hello. I look like I haven't moved positions, but I promise I did go lay in bed and read the rest of my book. But I finished my book. By the end of it, I still don't 100% understand why the villain is the way that he is and why the setup of this is so complicated, almost to the point where I'm wondering if I missed a prequel book or if this is like the jumping off point of a previous series. I don't know why it's just still so vague about why each character does what they do. It's funny because I was trying to describe this book to Bonnie and there are like 3 layers of backstory to even get to the main character and why she's relevant. So it's like the book is about her, but there's also 50 things going on in the background. So it's a very surprisingly complex story that I'm not used to in historical fiction, because usually it's like, this dude needs to marry but he doesn't wanna, and here's a girl who thinks that she's ugly but he wants her. And this was not A plus B equals C. It was like Z minus the square root of X. Now that I'm back into this, I'm like 90 pages in. It's taking me a second to remember who these characters are and what's happened already. But I don't think it's gonna add a whole lot of context because it's still pretty vague in book one on why this mean dude is so hell-bent on destroying their lives, but I'm enjoying it. There's already been like 2 kissing scenes, which I appreciate when they just get to it. Now that I know the backstory of his brother, I'm gonna get back into Beast's story, which by the way, his name is Wit. There can only be one, I'm just saying. So like I said, it's been a couple of days since I've read this, so I need to get back and maybe skim read the chapter I was on and see what the hell we were doing here. So I've only gotten a chapter further in my book. And yes, I'm reading it on Kindle with my Kindle stand because it's on Kindle Unlimited, and that's my prerogative. Right off the bat, the thing I'm noticing, this book is so much filthier than the previous book. This dude is a dirty talker. I don't know what is with me reading all these historical romances that they never have sex indoors. These books continue to give that trope, but also because he's from like the slums, very frequently his accent comes out to play, the Cockney accent. So he'll be like, that's a pretty isn't it? I-N-N-I-T, isn't it? I know British people are real, but that just sounds fake, so I'm having to get used to that. At some point, I'm gonna have to go to bed. It's like 10 o'clock. My train to the airport tomorrow is at like 8:30. I just got excited for the first time about this flight rather than like dreading it. The seat next to me is also still open, so that could be helping. I have not had like an anxiety attack about it yet, so I think I'll be fine. Well, tiny ass room, but I made it. There was an open middle seat the entire flight. I was so happy. But here's my view. We always stay in FIDE when I come to New York. I'm on the 29th floor, which is the top one for this hotel. Room tour. Oh my God, an old ass phone. A chair hanging from the ceiling that no one has had sex in, definitely. This shit has to go down to 68 expeditiously. So we have dinner at Nobu at 6 o'clock. It is currently 3:45. This is my only downtime for the entire week. The rest of the time I'm gonna be doing work and work activities. So I'm gonna go bust my ass down to the subway because I wanna go to Bon Bon, the Swedish candy shop, and potentially Levain Bakery, the cookies. There are so many tourists outside. I'm not convinced I'll be able to do both. Also, it's Monday and I go home on Thursday and I don't know how well it will save. I'm kind of nervous, I don't know, but I have to go. In high school when I was like, I'm gonna work in publishing, I'm gonna move to New York. No, I'm not, because look at my face. I have sweat on the tip of my nose. I'm quite proud of myself. I set out and I did the thing I said I was gonna do, even though there was like a 10-minute wait outside, which didn't happen last time. Oh my God, I need to like sit down and cool off and change. I'm maybe gonna even take a shower. I feel gross. Okay, well this is the outfit night 1 for Nobu. I feel super underdressed, but I don't wanna have my hair down because I'm gonna be sweating. As you can tell, I'm tucked up in my favorite PJs and my bonnet. I'm sitting here, barbecue sauce on my titties. I'm realizing I got bamboozled because the first thing I did when I got to my hotel room was chug one of the waters they had left out for me. Then I realized it's gonna charge me $6. Feeling ugly right now. Dinner was pretty good. I'm not a sushi person, but it just feels so special to go to Nobu. Like, I've been to Nobu. So I didn't really record on the plane, but I did get a smidgen further into my book. But I think I only got to like 51% and I was at like 48 or something. So not a lot has happened. Damn, I'm still thinking about that $6 water bottle. God damn it. How many people do you think refill the water and then put it back? Should I try? $6. Tomorrow I go to the World Trade Center to do my business meetings. I don't know why they let me in there. It's still crazy to think that I'm a human adult person with responsibilities that gets me into the World Trade Center. back at the hotel to collapse in bed, but I have like 20 minutes before we're all gonna go on a sunset cruise down the Hudson. I'm a little bit nervous about getting motion sick. I've never really been on a boat before. It's 2 hours. We'll see how that goes. It's an open taco bar, which is the only kind of bar that matters to me. All right, well, here's the boat outfit, which is not much different from the work outfit, but I added some tennis shoes. I didn't think I was ever someone who got motion sick, but I guess because I've had 2 concussions, I'm definitely a little bit headachy right now, so it was really fun. I've never seen Manhattan or Lady Liberty from a boat before. Would I ever do it again? Probably not. I felt kind of sick. Tomorrow we're having a meeting that's just with a bunch of social media people, and then after that I'm going to see Wicked. So I'm kind of freaking out. I'm so excited. It's gonna be a long day again though. I'm getting ready to go to bed. I'm all showered. I bring this shirt every time I go to New York, and I have a moment of pride and also nostalgia. If you can't tell, I'm very much a nostalgic person and I assign value to stupid inanimate objects. But I bought this shirt my junior year of high school when I dreamed of working in publishing and moving to New York one day, which I would not have survived. That was a very unrealistic goal for someone who had like never been since I was like 10. I bought this. I actually wore this shirt on my first day of junior year of high school. I have a picture. I'll put it here. Okay, actually it was my last day of senior year, but I digress. Now I bring it with me every time I go to New York, and it literally has holes everywhere in it, and I've used it as a sleep shirt for like 10 years. Oh my gosh, has it been 10 years? That's crazy. This shirt is 10 years old from Forever 21. Now I wear it and I'm like, oh my god, I'm here. Also, I was not trying to make this a New York vlog, and here we are. I guess since I'm not reading during the plus size readathon, I'll instead share my struggles with you as a plus size person. The struggle being getting here than getting home, but it'll be fine. Good morning. It is day 3. Act 1 is over. I cried so much. Oh, anyway. You want to be in it? Okay, Abby is requesting that I give my predictions. So I'm seeing Wicked for the first time. And
yes.
have no idea what's going to happen in Act 2. Here's my predictions.
Okay.
The only thing that I know, maybe, does Fiyero turn into a lion? That's like the one thing I might know.
I will not confirm or deny, but I like the theories.
And then she dies. That's all. I'm like, they're gonna sing for good. What else is in Act 2? I'm like, how is this a whole other hour?
Sharon's face is like, it goes full speed ahead.
Oh,
this
God.
was just a lot of build-up.
I'm scared.
Just
okay.
be prepared.
Just sobbed my ass off in Wicked.
Right.
Anyone else? Just me?
Are you surprised?
Oh my god. Oh my god, the ending. So I took the subway back to my hotel, walked by myself to the store, came up the elevator with a bunch of people at the hotel. I look like I've been crying, and I didn't think I looked like this. I have not really updated much today. For some reason around lunchtime, I started feeling really dizzy every now and then. I guess as a after effect of being on the boat, or I have no idea what caused it. It could have been like anxiety. I just felt disoriented. I feel like I was rocking. There was a point tonight when we were waiting for drinks at Wicked where I was like swaying, like and I like felt gravity. That sounds so weird, but I felt like so heavy, and I was like, am I gonna pass out? Like, I've never thought that before, but I was like, am I okay? But I told them I was gonna power through it because I needed to see Wicked. And like, it comes and goes. I have no idea what's wrong. Like I said, I braved going out. I bought Dramamine, which I've never needed to take before. I'm convinced I'm just anxious and that's what's causing this. So as soon as I'm in the air and I can count down to however many hours it's gonna take until I get home, I'll be fine. But that's my day. I didn't expect this to become a whole New York vlog. So thank you for lending me an ear. And just like that, we returned to top camera quality. I wanted to do a New York haul, but my bed looks crazy right now. As soon as I stepped on Texan soil, I needed to get canes, so I don't want to hear it about how I just complained this whole video about how I don't fit in planes and I'm still having fast food. I got bonbon for me. I got bonbon for Bonnie. I got so much swag from all the companies that we had meetings with. Here's the Twizzlers we snacked on during Wicked. Here's a cup my coworker gave me from her wine. Here's the confetti that I stole that goes off at the beginning of the musical. Here's my Shiz University notebook thing. And then one of our partners brought in La Durée macarons. I need to unpack and do my laundry. Are you helping me? You're so handsome. Even though you're laying on my playbill. Did you miss me? He's so mad. Hi y'all, how y'all doing? I have some leftover Hawaiian food that I got last night. Gotta cool off. So in the meantime, update on where I've been, because it's been like a day since I've filmed. Yesterday was Friday, finished up work, and then I went to Shelby's job because she had like a museum opening night. So attended that with her, it was very fun. Afterward, we watched Monsters Inc. Rosie's tearing up my chair, so just a normal Saturday in this house. Today I had volunteering at the bookstore, so I just finished up that shift. I do have a little mini book haul. I got 3 books. The first one I found is the graphic novel version of Long Way Down by Jason Reynolds, which I read when it first came out. I liked it, but I remember nothing, so I feel like reading this will be like reading it for the first time. I really couldn't even tell you what it's about. I just know it's a guy in an elevator thinking back on things that have happened to him in his life, and the main character is a young black man. I also found a copy of Paranormalcy by Kirsten White, which is like, what year is this? Like 2008 YA paranormal romance? 2010. Yeah, I was in middle school when this came out. I have just loved Kirsten White's other books. Actually, I lied. There's a couple of them that were flops for me, but I think this would be fun to revisit a really old book. It's also one of the most popular YA books I've never read, so I do have a goal of reading all of those eventually, and this was like 75 cents. So I just think it's gonna be fun. And then finally, this is a St. Martin's Press book, but it is from the 80s, so I recommend looking these up individually and not getting this like I did. But before I launch into this, let me just mention St. Martin's Press, because there's been an update. Yesterday they put out like a shit ass statement being like, we have investigated all the things that needed investigating and our investigation has investigated that we are innocent, which fucking sucks. And I realized after posting my plus size readathon TBR video that 2 of the titles were St. Martin's Press titles, and I just like, it didn't occur to me to vet everything before I talked about it. So 2 of them are St. Martin's Press. I've decided they're going back to the library, especially after this statement that just came out that reconfirms, okay, so no accountability happening. Great. I just want to stand with all the book influencers who felt like they have their trust broken by St. Martin's Press and want a response that will confirm that the publishing company truly is anti-racist. So I have no interest in reading some St. Martin's Press books now, let alone promoting them. But all that being said, this might be hypocritical because this one is, but the focus of this is that it's just 30 of the best short stories of all time. I've been thinking a lot more often about how short stories are so easy to consume and I just don't reach for them that often. An anthology of like the world's best, or at least English best, sounded fascinating to me. So I recognize a lot of these names. Flannery O'Connor is like a staple in the short story world. Kate Chopin, I've read many of hers. Poe, obviously. Most of these names are familiar to me, like F. Scott Fitzgerald, Hemingway, Steinbeck. A lot of these people I have read full novels by them and not any of their short stories. Yes, short story collection, but don't support St. Martin's Press. Thank you. I want to finish my book because I need to close out this vlog, and that's the last thing waiting. I think Shelby and I are also gonna hang out later, so we'll have a little reading date and I'm gonna finish my book finally. Hopefully I remember what's going on in it since it's been like a week since I've touched it. Okay, hello. It's only a couple hours later. I was stinking from being in the Texas sun, so I took a bath. When I was in the bath, I brought my book with me. Shit got real. This book is so good. But I'm currently collecting my things because I'm about to go over to Shelby's and read together with her. This book is very humbling. This line in particular, I was like, oh, I'm really liking this book because I think the drama the angst is there, but it's very wishy-washy on whether or not these characters like each other or not, because they are very quick to be like impassioned by one another, and they're like, oh my god, you're so sexy, oh my god, I need you, I want you, which is confusing because then the female main character is like convinced that he doesn't like her when he has all these monologues about like, I've never wanted anyone as much as I want you, but then also he's like doing things to bring down her family because her brother like fucked over his business. So part of me is like, why do you trust him and still have this pact with him to take your virginity if he's like about to hurt your family? It's so weird, but it's so good. I have an hour and a half left of this book according to my ebook stats, and I need to bring another one because I'm probably going to be at Shelby's until late tonight. This is my TBR shelf and I don't know what to take next. Here's my two St. Martin's Press books. Those are going back. We're not going to talk about these. So what else? Shelby wants to buddy read this, so I'll bring it just in case. I'm gonna do Fat Chance Charlie Vega. I haven't done a YA one in a minute. Also, I saw Shelby hold this at her house, so I'm gonna bring it just in case she wants to buddy read that. And here's all 4 books I'm gonna read tonight. Just kidding, I wish. Are you hungry? Okay. Did I finish this book or did it finish me? I am like hardcore in pantaloon mode with my pants. I just cried so much at the end of my book. It was so good. Can I tell you one thing about the sex in this book? It was so good. I knew that this book would be good because already it was so much like filthier than book 1. And book 1 was fine, but very plot focused. This one delivered with the romance, but almost at the expense of the plot, because the whole plot of it is he's like, I have a mean brother who's gonna want to kill you, so I have to protect you from it, so I can't love you because then you're gonna be a target. And the whole book is just that over and over and over and over. So on one hand, it's like the girlies who want the whole trope that's like, please love me, I'm begging you to love me. That one hurts. Some of the dialogue genuinely made my heart sink because so much of it is about like, no one ever wants me, I'm too loud, I'm too much of a woman, I'm too this or that. And he like can't admit to her that he wants her because then he'll make her vulnerable to his brother's attack. Whatever. That whole thing was so political, but ouch. Fair warning if you're sensitive to that, because ouch. I really liked it. The ending kind of wrapped up conveniently where the whole book he like refuses to take her seriously until at the end when things are very high stakes. I can't spoil it, but basically everything just happens so fast at the end, and then the main plot line about the evil guy kind of still isn't solved. So I will say, if you don't want to read book 1, I don't think you have to, but there's a lot of good nods to it. I don't know. It was really good. It was really good. I would consider her more of a mid-sized main character than plus-sized, so I wasn't like blown away at the plus-sized rep in this. Like, he doesn't really do a lot to go out of his way and be like, you're fucking gorgeous vibes despite your large body. But it was fine. And I did cry. These books have like actual plots to them where like the final conflict is like guns and knives and war and smuggling, rather than just like, does he like me? So if you need some actual plot behind your romances, these will actually deliver there. But yeah, again, not a full 5-star book for me, but I think I'll go like 4.5. Loved it. I do want to read book 3. I have no idea what it's about. I guarantee it's probably going to be the sister. Hold on. Yep, it's on Kindle Unlimited. Let's see what we're getting into with book 3. I'm going to have to save that one for September though, because who am I kidding? We got so much more to read this month. I'm not going to be polite and sit up for the end of this vlog, because this is my outro now, because this vlog has been like an hour and a half long at this point. But thank you for joining me. Shelby, I really want to show the cat, but it's just a full crotch shot on you. You can show him my clothes. Marcus is currently laying in my crotch region. I was sitting crisscross applesauce a few minutes ago. I heard he knows the hot to go dance. Oh, yes, yes. You ready to show them the hot to go dance? 5, 6, 7, 8. H-O-T-T-O-G-O. You can't take me hot. He's giving up. It's like, if you don't H-O-T-T-O-G-O the fuck away from me. Here's us saying goodbye to the vlog. I was trying to push a burp out and it didn't work. Oh, thank you. I was like, who's gonna break the silence? Bye.